Here's your wrestling news for April 19th, 2021. And if you like what you're watching, smash that like button and give us 1,000 likes or more. And your headlines for today include: released WWE wrestler says Kevin Dunn is like God backstage in WWE. WWE's had plans for Charlotte Flair to mentor Chelsea Green. Samoa Joe blamed a former writer for ruining his career. The problem we always had with Samoa Joe always revolved around his weight, says a former WWE writer. WWE originally wanted a released star to become the next Goldberg. WWE canceled plans for all-female faction. Spoiler on title rematch slated for WrestleMania Backlash. WWE's major plans for Aleister Black scrapped. Nia Jax has Twitter meltdown, takes shots at her own family. Somebody in the office decides who they want. Former superstar comments about Jon Moxley being unhappy in WWE. WWE wrestlers sent to anger management classes after backstage fight, and more. We are kicking off today with WWE, and whilst Kevin Dunn's critics may brand him a glorified yes man for Vince McMahon, the executive producer of global television distribution is no stranger to being in charge. That's something Chelsea Green can attest to, as this week, the now former WWE superstar spoke to Fightful about Dunn, saying they never spoke face-to-face. Though he was never seen, Green claims that Dunn was always talked about, saying that he was, quote, like God. That metaphor is apt given that Dunn crushed Billie Kay's push, which eventually led to her release last week, as he didn't get the Australian, despite her being popular with the crowd. Green also discussed Vince McMahon, saying she'd have to wait for 5 hours to speak to him, but that Bruce Pritchard made time for her. It's no secret that Dunn doesn't like to be seen, as his profile on WWE's corporate website is missing a photo, but he clearly had an impact on Green, even if she couldn't see him in person. Dunn wasn't the only big name Green discussed during her interview with Fightful, as the former superstar talked about huge plans WWE had for her that never came to fruition. In May 2020, Green teamed with Charlotte Flair on NXT, facing Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, and post-match, there were reportedly plans for the Queen to mentor the then NXT superstar. This never transpired, and whilst Flair is doing well for herself, recently returning to the Raw Women's title picture, we're wondering what could have been if WWE had stuck with this idea. More from Green now, as many fans were shocked to see her release, especially given reports that she was being groomed as a big name in WWE's women's division going forward. In that same interview, the former WWE superstar shared her own feelings when she got the call from John Laurinaitis, saying, "I was totally shocked. I understand it, you know? I wasn't used, and of course, when I was used, I broke my arm." Though Green was surprised about being cut, she was also aware that it could happen, as she admitted that she had a warning not too long before the dreaded phone call came. "Thankfully, I was given a little bit of a heads up, a little warning. Hey, they're cutting people. I was able to mentally prepare myself just in case, because I will say, if I hadn't gotten that text letting me know, I would have thought that phone call was for my debut, and that would have been embarrassing." The 30-year-old confirmed that it was John Laurinaitis who called her and appreciated his kind words and straightforwardness, saying she's glad she got the call from him specifically. A former Impact Knockouts champion when she competed as Laurel Van Ness, Green recently teased a return to the character on Twitter, but whatever she has planned, fans will need to wait 90 days to see what happens. Samoa Joe was another surprising release last week, and though some fans are hoping to see him return to Impact, the former NXT champion may not be thrilled about that idea. It was back in 2010 that Joe had one of his worst angles with the company, where he was kidnapped by ninjas who took him away in a white van. Not much became of the angle, and it was ultimately dropped, but now Vince Russo has explained what the angle was meant to be. All of a sudden, at one creative meeting, Eric Bischoff has the idea that Joe's gonna get kidnapped, and he's gonna get thrown in this white van, and ninjas are gonna come out and kidnap him. So me and Conway are like, really? Then Eric tells us his master plan at the time. Superfly Jimmy Snuka was gonna be behind this. Eric was like, I can get Snuka. Okay, Eric, if you can get Snuka. So of course we do the ninja captures Joe and throws him in the white van, and of course, Eric can't get Snuka. So now all of a sudden, Eric doesn't know what to do with that, so now it's back on Vince and Conway. Russo went on to explain how years later he got an email from Joe who made some scathing accusations at the controversial wrestling writer. Years later, I get an email from Joe. This is prior to WWE now. He hadn't gone to WWE, and he's writing to me in this email how I single-handedly ruined his career by having him kidnapped and thrown in a white van. Number 1, I never knew Joe thought this angle ruined his career. Number 2, never had the conversation with me about it. Number 3, I didn't throw Eric under the bus because I didn't work that way. So then finally, after all these years, I write back and say, keep in mind this is before WWE, and I'm like, Joe, let me ease your mind, that's not going to ruin your career. Did it suck? Was it horrible? Was it bad? Yes. Is it going to ruin your career? No. Russo also explained that Joe's history of stop-start pushes and bad booking was often down to his weight, saying that was the most important factor as to why he didn't get a bigger push. He explained that due to TNA's shooting schedule, as the company often filmed 6 to 8 weeks of content at a time, and that when Joe was in good shape, they'd book him well, but they'd have to change plans the next time he showed up and was out of shape. Bad booking seems to have followed Joe his entire career, which may explain why Jim Cornette recently said how Joe must have some sort of curse on him for the past 20 years. The fact that Joe only had one TNA World title reign, arguably long after when he should have won the title, as well as his past year on the shelf, can certainly attest to some sort of curse, and we can only hope that the Samoan submission machine has better luck now that he's out of WWE. Mojo Rawley was also one of the 10 names cut from WWE last week, and whilst his career may not have been the biggest, there were once huge plans for the former 24/7 champion. Joining WWE in 2012, Rawley didn't amount to much in his 9 years, with his biggest win coming during WrestleMania 33's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, though, Rawley was a top prospect when he signed in 2012 and was highly touted to be the next Bill Goldberg. We hope this isn't true because it's an unfair expectation to have from a newly signed superstar, and whilst Rawley obviously didn't fill the shoes of the former Universal Champion, WWE's booking of him, not giving him any feuds and hardly featuring him on the main roster, hardly did him any favors. Guys, before you proceed, we'd like you to check out some very interesting news we published yesterday. Check out the video by clicking the link at the upper right-hand corner or from the description field. Speaking of plans not transpiring, WWE had a lot of ideas for Chelsea Green before her departure, and one included an all-female faction. According to reports, there were plans for a stable featuring her, Vanessa Bourne, and Santana Garrett, though Chelsea didn't specify if this faction would have been part of the mentor-student dynamic with Charlotte Flair WWE also had plans for. Describing the team as Pussycat Dolls meets Charlie's Angels, that group also never became anything, and whilst Bourne and Garrett have both disappeared off WWE's radar in the past year, they remain with the company, unlike Green. Now, next month's Backlash pay-per-view is being promoted as WrestleMania Backlash, so it's only fitting that some WrestleMania rematches are planned for the show. During the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, it was noted that the women's tag team titles aren't likely to change between now and Backlash, and that fans could see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend yet again against Natalya and Tamina. WWE are already sowing the seeds of this rematch, as Natalya didn't tap to the Kirifuda clutch at WrestleMania, instead passing out in the hold, and the Queen of Hearts got her win back on the post-Mania Raw. Given WWE's past of booking tag team feuds with singles matches, fans can expect this rematch to take place next month, though whether the self-proclaimed Boat and Yacht will become tag team champions remains to be seen. We've spoken a lot lately about WWE's releases, but one person still with the company is Aleister Black, even if he hasn't been seen since before last year's draft. After Paul Heyman was removed as Raw's executive director, Black, a personal favorite of Heyman, had all plans dropped. But it wasn't the first time that stories for the former NXT champion didn't get the green light. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, Black was one of the 2 people in early 2020 being considered to face then WWE champion Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, with the plan being for the Dutchman to dethrone the Beast. Obviously, WWE went with their other candidate, Drew McIntyre, and given McIntyre's success and how he carried the WWE in the past year, the choice was probably for the best. We hope this report from The Observer is true, as it gives us hope that Black could still amount to something on WWE's main roster, and with his return reportedly imminent as WWE has been filming content for vignettes, perhaps Black's time to step up and challenge for the WWE Championship could come sooner rather than later. Fans shouldn't expect Black at WrestleMania Backlash, but tensions are boiling between the teams of Natalya and Tamina and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Taking to Twitter, Jax had something of a meltdown recently, saying she's sick of being humble and targeted her own family in the tweet, saying, "I'm so sick of trying to be humble and hold my tongue. It really be your own family that is quick to stab you in the back. People may not know, but Tamina is loved and respected by fans and most importantly, by our family. I'm the black sheep/outcast, the embarrassment. This family shit. They say blood is thicker than water, but I remember plenty of times when water was there and blood wasn't." We'll have to wait this situation out because Nia Jax seems pretty heated right now, and it'll be interesting to see if this outburst factors into the on-screen build to WrestleMania Backlash. Fans might even see a new reign start for Natalya and Tamina, but they'll have to get through Baszler and a clearly furious Jax first. Vince McMahon knows a thing or two about being angry, especially against his own family on screen, but the chairman reportedly has quite the unique dish to calm his nerves. Speaking to the Bill Simmons podcast, Stephanie McMahon revealed that in the 80s, her father used to love eating Oreos, and to be fair, so do we, but he loved eating them squirted with squeezed cheese. A weird dish to say the least, we wouldn't recommend trying this out for yourself, but perhaps some upstart WWE superstar could use this recipe to get in the boss's good books. In 2019, Dean Ambrose left WWE for the sunny shores of AEW, where he's become one of the company's top stars, as well as a former AEW World Champion. 2019 was also the same year Sin Cara was released, and in his interview with Gary Cassidy on his YouTube channel, the masked superstar compared his own time in WWE to that of the former AEW World Champion. He said, "Dean Ambrose left, right? Jon Moxley left the company. He was given everything. He was a Grand Slam champion, and even after he left, he was miserable. Imagine me, who never got a chance to wrestle for the US title, the Intercontinental title, or the tag title, or anything. Imagine me and how I would feel. He felt that way, and he was given everything. It was tough for me to look for those opportunities because I never got them, and it wasn't because of lack of effort or lack of talent. It's because somebody in the office decides who they want to pick. It's unfortunate, but it's true." It's hard to argue that Moxley received a ton of opportunities in WWE, opportunities that Sin Cara and countless names like him didn't receive, but given how much happier Moxley seems outside of WWE, something that he's admitted in plenty of interviews since leaving WWE, opportunities in Vince McMahon's promotion clearly aren't everything. Perhaps Sin Cara would have gotten more opportunities had he not gotten into fights backstage, most notably with Simon Gotch and Chris Jericho. And unsurprisingly, this didn't sit well with WWE management. Recently, Cara, now competing as Cinta de Oro, spoke to Inside the Ropes, where he revealed that WWE even sent him to anger management classes to deal with his frustration. He explained, "Yeah, I got sent to anger management classes, that's true. And well, I had to do it because I had a couple of altercations throughout my career in the company. But the thing about us is that, as wrestlers, as performers, we may have a disagreement one day and we can take it out on ourselves, and then the next day we'll be fine. No grudge, nothing. It was just that spur of the moment, and that's it. I did have a couple of scuffles with some of them. But to this day, like me and Sheamus are really good friends, me and Jericho have no problem. Simon Gotch, I wish him the best. We're not friends, but I wish him the best. I don't wish him nothing bad. But it was one of those things that sometimes happens. We're men, we're in a sport where, you want to be number one, you want to be the best. I understand and I get it. But that is true, I got into anger management classes. And I don't have an anger problem, but I guess it was because I've gone through a few of those things and they just wanted to, in a sense, see if I needed help. I guess, I don't know." On screen, anger management classes were used for comedy segments for Kane and Daniel Bryan, but the classes Sin Cara attended were no joke. Sin Cara also insisted that he doesn't have an anger problem, but given WWE's decisions after his backstage outbursts, we're sure the bruised faces of Simon Gotch and Chris Jericho would beg to differ. And we're ending with AEW Dynamite, as a huge segment has been confirmed for the show. On this Wednesday's episode, Jim Ross will be interviewing The Pinnacle, 1 week on from Mike Tyson joining the Inner Circle. We imagine the Inner Circle will be watching the interview closely, if not interrupting it, and it'll be interesting to hear what MJF has to say ahead of the Blood and Guts match on the May 5th edition of Dynamite. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.